Our attention turns to the nation's capital for a top 8 clash on Thursday night. Let's get into my round 13 predictions. So we have the Canberra Raiders in form at the moment up against the Cronulla Sharks. Now, this game I think is going to be really good. A lot of people think it's going to be the best game of the round at the fact that it's two teams that both should win here. It's a hard game to pick. As for the ins and outs, you've got Michael Oldfield and Sebastian Kris in for the Raiders. Sebastian Kris is named on a reserves list though. Josh Morris returns from Origin for the Sharks, and Shaun Johnson once again named the reserve. Now, I think he's a chance of playing this week. I do think that Shaun Johnson will play in this match. I think they'll need him. Jaden Brayley is out, moving Blake Brayley into a starting position. Now, I think the Raiders are going to win this one, and I think that they're going to win it big. I'm going to go ahead on a long note at home that the Raiders will win this one by 14 points. If I had to put a score line, I would say let's go 26 points to 12 in favour of the Raiders. They're really good at the moment on the back of Bateman and the team that they've got. Even Jack Whiten and Aiden Caesar, their halves, are fantastic at the moment. The Sharks, though, they were great against Parramatta. It's hard to see if they can back it up. I just think the Raiders will be too good. All right, the next game is the Gold Coast Titans up against the New Zealand Warriors. Now, this one is at Titans Stadium. The Titans coming off what should have been a big win over the Broncos. They let in a few tries at the end, the Titans here, and the Warriors coming off. This will be their third straight loss if they lose this one. A big loss, 32-10 against the Storm. As for the ins and outs, you've got Keegan Hipgrave and Keegan Proctor out. Kevin Proctor is out due to a fractured eye socket, whereas Keegan Hipgrave is one-match ban. Harris Tavita is named on a lower reserve grade, so he could play in this match. And then you've got Branko Lee, Bryce Cartwright, and Shannon Boyd, as well as Philip Sammy for the Titans. Now, Titans at home here, and I'm leaning towards the home teams this week, if that's a little clue for my tip. I'm going to take the Warriors by 10 here. I think the Warriors can win this one 22 points to 12. I think it'll be a lot low scoring than people think it'll be. It won't be out of the park. Both teams will put in a good fight here. The fact the Titans are at home should favour them. I just think the Warriors will bounce back here, and they seem to do a lot better when they're away from home. The next game sees North Queensland Cowboys taking on the West Tigers. Now, this is a good game. I like watching these two sides play. They normally are fairly good, and this is at 1300 Smile Stadium, which does favour the Cowboys in the betting odds, and it also favours them in my opinion. I didn't take them last week at home. I just think that they'll bounce back. They've got so many injuries. They've got something to prove. On the back of John Asiata, I think they're going to have a big game, but a little win. I think the Cowboys will win this one by 2 points. I think it's got the potential to be a high scorer as well. I'm going to go, I feel like it's too high, but 24-26 in favour of the Cowboys. Now, as for the ins and outs, Mahe Whanua is out for the Tigers due to a foot injury, but Robert Jennings and Paul Momorowski return, as well as Luke Garner, who was really good at the start of this year. He was fantastic. And then you've got Mitch Dunn, Reuben Cotter, and Jordan McLean. Jordan McLean is a big loss for the Cowboys, but they've got the return of David Bowen, as well as Jordan Kahu, who is named on the bench. Is he? He's not starting, I don't think. Yeah, he's named on an extended bench, so he has a chance of playing. So I think the Cowboys win this one by 2 points. Game is going to be really, really interesting at Amy Park, the Storm against the Knights. Now, I'm going to take a big call here. If the Knights win this game, they're going to win the grand final, or at least they're going to play in the grand final. This team is too good at the moment. David Clemmer is out due to injury, which is a big out for them. Kalen Ponga does return for the side. I just think Melbourne are going to be too good at home here. I'm going to take the Melbourne Storm by 8 points. I think it'll be a very, very close match. I don't know. There's no outs for each side. Besides, David Clemmer, he's not named. Well, it doesn't have him as an out, I guess because he didn't play last week. Aiden Guerra is named in the reserves for the Knights, which is a massive, massive boost for them, as well as the return of Kalen Ponga. There's no ins really for, I can't pronounce these names, Tinu Fasalamuli Mali and Tuaka Makakaka. I can't really do that. But I think the Storm at home, I just think they can end the Knights' losing streak. And I did say this last week, the Knights were so good. As I said, if the Knights beat the Storm, I do think Mitchell Pearce earns a number 7 jersey. I said that in my recap video. This is going to be a good clash. I can't wait to see Hughes up against Ponga. Just looking at all of these sides, they're both in form. I can't wait to watch this one. The next game is the Rabbits up against Penrith. Now, Penrith have been playing really good as of lately, and the Rabbitohs have lost 2 in a row. This is a game the Rabbits really should win. However, I'm going to take an upset here, and I'm going to take the Penrith Panthers for the first time in a while. I think on the back of Maloney, even Cleary's playing okay, but the back of Maloney, and even Liam Martin, kick out these players that are starting. They're so good. I think it'll be a very narrow game. I think it'll also be a low-scoring match. I'm going to take Penrith. Let's say, it's a hard one to pick, maybe 14-18, the same as the Origin score. You've got Sam Burgess out, Tom Burgess out, Billy Britton out, Malachi Waitan-Selesniak returns, Cody Walker's in, Kyle Turner. I just think there's a huge reshuffle. Adam Dewey as their halfback. Can he play that role? Obviously, they've got Roberts and stuff. I mean, I want to take the Rabbits here. They should win this. If they don't, it's a worry. But there's got to be an upset in footy every round. And I'm going to take the Panthers by 4 points. The next game is my Parramatta Eels up against the Brisbane Broncos. Now, the Broncos have a few outs here. They have Alex Glenn and Tom Dearden out. Alex Glenn played his 250th NRL game, I think, the other day. And it was lovely watching him get his jersey given by his mum. As for the ins, we've got Brad Takarangi named on our reserves. We'll see if he plays. Will Smith in reserves. Now, I can't speak highly of Will Smith after the other night. I thought he had a rubbish game of football. I have thought that he played really well at the start when we first dropped Salmon, but we've now brought Jamin Salmon back in, as well as Ray Stone for another shot. James Seguiaro is named on the reserves list for the Broncos, so I don't know what their plan is with him. Corey Oates is named, but I know he has a rim injury, and Matt Gillette is back from the Origin. Now, God, I hope Parramatta can win this game. I'll be there. I'm a big Parramatta fan. I'm going to tip them this week. I'm just really, really worried about them. I think they can win this one 20 points to 18. We've got a good record at home against the Broncos, but the Broncos always seem to come big after a small loss. So their small loss against the Titans could lead them to a big win over the Eels. But I really hope I'm wrong about this. I hope it's a good game of footy. We welcome Jamin Salmon partnered with Mitchell Moses, which I think can take a bit of pressure off him. He's been playing his guts out. And David Gower, week in, week out, along with our forward pack, Nathan Brown. I think the Eels can win this one. Next game is the Sea Eagles up against the Dragons at Lotto Land. Another good game for the week. Last time these two sides played, Manly should have won, but the Dragons did get the win. I think I tipped the Dragons as well in that match. Jordan Pereira is in, as well as Luciana Leilua for the Dragons. Brendan Elliott is named, with Kane Elgie returning for the Manly side. I'm going to take Manly here. I had a really big lean towards, and I'll tell you guys, because if I get it right, I'll be pissed. The Dragons by 12. If they turn up, I was going to pick the Dragons by 12 because I can see it happening. However, I just think the home side can edge a small win here, and I'm tipping the Manly Sea Eagles by 6 on the back of Travojevic, Cherry Evans, the return of Brendan Elliott, all these players that are playing good. They showed me enough the other night that defensively they can get the Dragons. And last but not least, the Roosters up against the Bulldogs. Now, let's say now I'm going to tip the Roosters, and I'm pretty sure most people are. But I think that this game is not an easy one to pick. This Bulldogs side is so bad at the moment, and they're so desperate for a win that they have a high chance of getting it here. You can call me crazy all you want. I would not be surprised if the Bulldogs win this game by less than 12. If they win by more than 13, Jesus fucking Christ. But I almost want to tip them. They're so desperate. They're so due. The Roosters have lost 3 in a row now. I don't think they can lose 4 in a row. I think the Bulldogs are going to turn up here, especially with Dalen Waitani-Selesniak being named and playing in the centres for the side. Christian Crichton is out because of this. Michael Leacher and Corey Harawira-Naira are named, which is good. Now, Brock Lamb, as well as Angus Crichton and Latrell Mitchell are in for the Roosters, which is ins. I'm glad that Ofahigi Ogden is on the reserves for the Bulldogs because he's garbage. I'm sorry, he's garbage. Hot garbage for the dog. And this is why I think they can turn up and play well on the back of Dalen. However, I can't go past the Roosters. The fact they've lost 3, I'm going to tip the Roosters by 10 points. Okay, that is it for the predictions for the round. Let me know what you guys think is going to happen. Let's get into my best bets. We now get to a section of the video, if you watch it, which is fastly. I'm enjoying doing this. I mean, last week I got Tony Staggs. Luke Brooks was denied a try. John Sutton had a classy game. He really turned up. And Tarek Sims was also denied a try. So I'd say I'm doing fairly well. Now let's go for the best bets. My multi for this week, I'm going to take 4 home teams. And I think they can all get the win here. The Raiders to brush home against the Sharks. The Storm to end the night streak. Parramatta to bounce back against the Broncos. And the Roosters to beat the Bulldogs, which I did speak about as a roughie. That is paying $5.19. Sorry, I didn't put the odds for this one. Okay, cool. My try scorers for the week. John Bateman. He's in form. He should cross the line in this Sharks game for the Raiders. Michael Jennings. I think he can cross for a Parramatta try. Not just at any time. I'll get to that later. Dalen Waitani-Selesniak. He's a player who knows how to run the ball. He's experienced footy. I think he can get a try for the Dogs against the Roosters. And lastly, let's brush it with James Roberts for the South Sydney Rabbitohs to make it 2 from 2 in this side. Now that multi there for the try scorers is paying $81.22. So I got 1 out of 4 last week. Let's see if we can get some money. As for my mega multi, it's a massive ask this week. I'm going to say that Michael Jennings is going to score the first try in the Parramatta and Broncos game at Bankwest on Saturday night. I'm going to say the Roosters will only win in a big win, little win, 1-12 against the Bulldogs. I think they can really turn up in this match and brush home with Canberra at home, 13 plus against the Cronulla Sharks. Good luck with your betting. That mega multi there is worth $180. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next week and in my round 14 vlog at EELS vs Broncos.